Hey, hi, hello there and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we're having another race rundown. And this time we were in Shanghai. We are talking all about the Chinese Grand Prix. We have Formula 1 Academy and Formula 1. Formula 1 has a sprint race, so it will be a bit similar to F1 Academy. So get ready for that. There was a lot going on in both formulas, so let's get on with this. Let's start off with the free practice session for Formula 1 Academy, and in 18th was the wildcard Shi with 16 laps, in 17th was Kosterman with 12 laps, in 16th was a Jacket with 13 laps, in 15th was Dobson with 15 laps, in 14th was Countryman with 14 laps, in 13th was Stevens with 15 laps, in 12th was Robertson with 15 laps, in 11th was Granada with 13 laps, in 10th was Gaidman with 13 laps, in 9th was Bruce with 14 laps, in 8th was Felbermeyer with 15 laps, in 7th was Lloyd with 14 laps, in 6th was Pats with 12 laps, in 5th was Billard with 13 laps, in 4th was Ferreira with 12 laps, in 3rd was Westcott with 12 laps, in 2nd was Larson with 15 laps, and in 1st was Palmowski with 11 laps. So this is the grid for the first race of Formula 1 Academy in China. In 18th was Shi, in 17th was Countryman, in 16th was Pats, in 15th was Kosterman, in 14th was Bruce, in 13th was Jacket, in 12th was Robertson, in 11th was Stevens, in 10th was Lloyd, in 9th was Dobson, in 8th was Palmowski, in 7th was Larson, in 6th was Felbermeyer, in 5th was Westcott, in 4th was Ferreira, in 3rd was Billard, in 2nd is Granada, and in 1st is Gaidman. So how did the first race pan out? So in 18th position it was Larson, who dropped 11 positions, in 17th was Shi, who gained 1 position, in 16th was Countryman, who gained 1 position, in 15th was Kosterman, who stayed where she was, in 14th was Pats, who gained 2 positions, in 13th was Jaquette, who stayed where she was, in 12th was Bruce, who gained 2 positions, in 11th was Stevens, who stayed where she was, in 10th was Robertson, who gained 2 positions, in 9th was Dobson, who stayed where she was, in 8th was Billard, who dropped 5 positions, in 7th was Lloyd, who gained 3 positions, in 6th was Westcott, who dropped 1 position, in 5th was Palmowski, who gained 3 positions, in 4th was Ferreira, who stayed where she was, in 3rd was Felbermeyer, who gained 3 positions, in 2nd is Granada, who stayed where she was, and in 1st is Gaidman, who stayed where she was. And as we know, in Formula 1 Academy, the top 8 gets reversed, so this is how they actually qualified. In 18th was Shi, who stayed where she was compared to the free practice session. In 17th was Countryman, who dropped 3 positions. In 16th was Pats, who dropped 10 positions. In 15th was Kosterman, who gained 2 positions. In 14th was Bruce, who dropped 5 positions. In 13th was Jaquette, who gained 3 positions. In 12th was Robertson, who stayed where she was. In 11th was Stevens, who gained 2 positions. In 10th was Lloyd, who dropped 3 positions. In 9th was Dobson, who gained 6 positions. In 8th was Gaidman, who gained 2 positions. In 7th was Granada, who gained 4 positions. In 6th was Billard, who dropped 1 position. In 5th was Ferreira, who dropped 1 position. In 4th was Westcott, who dropped 1 position. In 3rd was Felbermeyer, who gained 5 positions. In 2nd was Larson, who stayed where she was. And in 1st was Palmowski, who stayed where she was. In terms of the second race, in 18th was Kosterman, who dropped 3 positions and had a DNF. In 17th was Jaquette, who dropped 4 positions and also had a DNF. In 16th was Shi, who gained 2 positions but had a DNF. In 15th was Robertson, who dropped 3 positions and had a DNF. In 14th was Granada, who dropped 7 positions. In 13th was Countryman, who gained 4 positions. In 12th was Stevens, who lost 1 position. In 11th was Pats, who gained 5 positions. In 10th was Dobson, who gained 1 position. In 9th was Bruce, who dropped 5 positions. In 8th was Larson, who dropped 6 positions. In 7th was Billard, who dropped 1 position. In 6th was Ferreira, who dropped 1 position. In 5th was Lloyd, who gained 5 positions. In 4th was Gaidman, who gained 4 positions. In 3rd was Westcott, who gained 1 position. In 2nd was Palmowski, who dropped 1 position. And in 1st was Felbermeyer, who gained 2 positions. So how are we looking in terms of the Drivers' Championship after one race for Formula 1 Academy? In first position is Felbermayr with 31 points. In second is Palmowski with 25 points, 6 points behind Felbermayr. In third is Gaidman with 22 points, 3 points behind Palmowski. In fourth is Westcott with 18 points, 4 points behind Gaidman. In fifth is Ferreira with 13 points, 5 points behind Westcott. In sixth is Lloyd with 13 points, she's on the same level as Ferreira. In seventh is Granado with 8 points, 5 points behind Lloyd. In 8th is Billard with 7 points, 1 point behind Granada. In 9th is Larson with 4 points, 3 points behind Billard. In 10th is Bruce with 2 points, 2 points behind Larson. In 11th is Dobson on 1 point, 1 point behind Bruce. In 12th is Robertson, who is on 0 points, so that's 1 less than Dobson. And in 13th is Stevens with 0 points. 14th is Pats with 0 points. In 15th is Countryman with 0 points. In 16th is Jaquette with 0 points. In the 17th is Costerman with 0 points, and in 18th is the wildcard entry with 0 points. So how does that reflect on the team standings? Well, in first position is Rodin with 44 points, followed by Campos 4 points behind on 40. In 13th is MP Motorsport with 26 points, 14 points behind Campos. In fourth is Prima with 26 points, they're on the same level as MP Motorsport. In fifth is ART Grand Prix with 7 points, 19 points behind Prima. And in sixth is High Tech with 1 point, 6 points behind ART Grand Prix. Let's start with first practice for Formula 1, and in 22nd position was Perez with 13 laps. In 21st was Lindblad with 6. In 20th was Stroll with 20. In 19th was Bottas with 25. In 18th was Alonso with 18. In 17th was Sainz with 18. In 16th was Alonso with 31. In 15th was Colapinto with 26. In 14th was Ocon with 25. In 13th was Hadjar with 26. In 12th was Bortoleto with 26. In 11th was Lawson with 29. In 10th was Gasly with 28, in 9th was Hulkenberg with 27, in 8th was Verstappen with 24, in 7th was Behrman with 28, in 6th was Hamilton with 26, in 5th was Leclerc with 28, in 4th was Piastri with 28, in 3rd was Norris with 29, in 2nd is Antonelli with 30, and in 1st was Russell with 29. On to sprint qualifying, where in 22nd position was Perez once again. He didn't move, but that's because he didn't even take part, because his car had an issue, so he couldn't actually do any running. In 21st position was Bottas, who dropped 2 positions. In 20th was Stroll, who stayed where he was. In 19th was Alonso, who dropped 1 position. In 18th was Albon, who dropped 2 positions. In 17th was Sainz, who stayed where he was. In 16th was Colapinto, who dropped 1 position. In 15th was Lindblad, who gained 6 positions. In 14th was Bortoleto, who dropped 2 positions. In 13th was Lawson, who dropped 2 positions. In 12th was Ocon, who gained 2 positions. In 11th was Hulkenberg, who dropped 2 positions. In 10th was Hadjar, who gained 3 positions. In 9th was Behrman, who dropped 2 positions. In 8th was Verstappen, who stayed where he was. In 7th was Gasly, who gained 3 positions. In 6th was Leclerc, who dropped 1 position. In 5th was Piastri, who dropped 1 position. In 4th was Hamilton, who gained 2 positions. In 3rd was Norris, who stayed where he was. In 2nd was Antonelli, who stayed where he was. And in 1st was Russell, who stayed where he was. So how did the sprint pan out? In 22nd position was Lindblad, who dropped 7 positions. In 21st is Bottas, who stayed where he was. In 20th was Hulkenberg, who dropped 9 positions. In 19th was Perez, who gained 3 positions. In 18th was Stroll, who gained 2 positions. In 17th was Alonso, who gained 2 positions. In 16th was Albon, who gained 2 positions. In 15th was Hadjar, who dropped 5 positions. In 14th was Colapinto, who gained 2 positions. In 13th was Bortoleto, who gained 1 position. In 12th was Sainz, who gained 5 positions. In 11th was Gasly, who dropped 4 positions. In 10th was Ocon, who gained 2 positions. In 9th was Verstappen, who dropped 1 position. In 8th was Behrman, who gained 1 position. In 7th was Lawson, who gained 6 positions. In 6th was Piastri, who dropped 1 position. In 5th was Antonelli, who dropped 3 positions. In 4th was Norris, who dropped 1 position. In 3rd was Hamilton, who gained 1 position. In 2nd was Leclerc, who gained 4 positions. And in 1st was Russell, who stayed where he was. So how did they qualify? So in 22nd position, dropping 3 levels is Perez. Then in 21st is Stroll, who dropped 3 positions. In 20th is Bottas, who gained 1 position. In 19th is Alonso, who dropped 2 positions. In 18th is Albon, who dropped 2 positions. In 17th is Sainz, who dropped 5 positions. In 16th is Bortoleto, who dropped 3 positions. In 15th is Lindblad, who gained 7 positions. In 14th is Lawson, who dropped 7 positions. In 13th is Ocon, who dropped 3 positions. In 12th is Colapinto, who gained 2 positions. In 11th is Hülkenberg, who gained 9 positions. In 10th is Behrman, who dropped 2 positions. In 9th is Hadjar, who gained 6 positions. In 8th is Verstappen, who gained 1 position. In 7th is Gasly, who gained 4 positions. In 6th is Norris, who dropped 2 positions. In 5th is Piastri, who gained 1 position. In 4th is Leclerc, who dropped 2 positions. In 3rd is Hamilton, who stayed where he was. In 3rd is Russell, who dropped 1 position. And in 1st is Antonelli, who gained 4 positions. And how did the race pan out? Well, we had 4 people who did not start the race, and that's in 22nd position Albon, who dropped 4 positions. In 21st is Bortoleto, who dropped 5 positions. In 20th is Piastri, who dropped 15 positions. And in 19th it was Norris, who dropped 15 positions, so not an ideal day for McLaren at all. Then in 18th is Stroll, who gained 3 positions, but he did not finish the race. And then in 17th is his teammate Alonso, who gained 2 positions, but also did not finish the race. And in the biggest shocker of them all, in 16th position was Verstappen, who dropped 8 positions and did not finish the race either. A lot of these issues are to do with everybody's power units or hydraulics, so it's mainly electrical or hydraulic issues there. So the first finisher of the race, who is actually at the very bottom, is in 15th position Perez, who gained 7 positions as a result of all the other 7 drivers I just mentioned not finishing the race or even starting it. In 14th is Ocon, who dropped 1 position. He would have been higher if he had not collided with Colapinto. In 13th is Bottas with 8 positions gained, so a good day for Cadillac as a result of all of the other teams suffering. In 12th is Lindblad, who gained 3 positions. In 11th is Hülkenberg, who stayed where he was. In 10th is Colapinto, who gained 2 positions. In 9th is Sainz, who gained 8 positions. In 8th is Hadjar, who gained 1 position. In 7th is Lawson, who gained 7 positions. In 6th is Gasly, who gained 1 position. In 5th is Behrman, who gained 5 positions. In 4th is Leclerc, who stayed where he was. In 3rd was Hamilton, his first podium in Ferrari, and he stayed where he was. In 2nd is Russell, who stayed where he was. And in 1st is Antonelli, his first maiden, well, his own, you only get 1 maiden win. His maiden win in China, he got 1st place. So after 2 rounds of the 2026 season, this is how the drivers' standings look like. So in first place is Russell with 51 points, followed by Antonelli with 47, he's 4 points behind. Then Leclerc in 3rd with 34, he's 13 points behind. Then Hamilton 1 behind in 33. In 5th is Behrman with 17 points. He's 16 points behind Hamilton. Then in 6th is Norris with 15. He's 2 points behind Behrman. In 7th is Gasly with 9 points. He's 6 points behind Norris. In 8th is Verstappen with 8 points. He's 1 point behind Gasly. In 9th is Lawson with 8 points, so he is on the same level as Verstappen. In 10th is Lindblad with 4 points. He's 4 points behind his teammate Lawson. And then in 11th is Hadjar with 4 points. He's on the same level as Lindblad. And then in 12th is Piastri with 3 points. He's 1 point behind Hadjar. In 13th is Sainz with 2 points, 1 point behind Piastri. In 14th is Bortoleto with 2 points, same as Sainz. In 15th is Colapinto with 1 point, that's 1 point behind Bortoleto. In 16th is Ocon, who is on 0, so that's 1 point behind Colapinto. In 17th is Hülkenberg on 0, 18th is Albon on 0, in 19th Bottas on 0, in 20th Perez on 0, in 21st is Alonso with 0, and in 22nd is Stroll with 0. And in terms of teams, in first it's Mercedes with 98 points. In second is Ferrari on 67 points. That's 31 points behind. Then McLaren in third with 18 points. They're 49 points behind. In fourth is Haas with 17 points, 1 point behind McLaren. In 15th is Red Bull with 12 points, 5 points behind Haas. In 6th is Racing Bulls with 12, so they're on the same level as their sister team. In 7th is Alpine with 10 points, 2 points behind Racing Bulls and Red Bull. In 8th is Audi with 2 points, 8 points behind Alpine. In 9th is Williams with 2 points, same level as Audi. In 10th is Cadillac with 0 points, so they're 2 points behind Williams. And in 11th is Aston Martin, who are on 0 points. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Formula Amateur and another episode of Race Rundown. There will not be a race rundown next week as a result of the fact that there is no race next week, but after that is the Japanese Grand Prix, and then after that there's a 5-week break because the Bahrain and Saudi Arabian Grand Prix have been cancelled due to the ongoing Middle Eastern conflict that is happening right now. So, even though that is happening, I hope you've enjoyed, and don't forget to check out my lovely colleagues on the Be The Change Media Network. Don't forget to check out BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you on Saturday. Goodbye.